Hello everyone. We are finishing our series on solid design principles, and today we are talking about dependency injection principle. Some regard it as more even of a technique. And to illustrate this principle, let me give you an example. Imagine you are going with your friends, uh, do some fishing, and for this you would need a board. And for a board, you would need, or inside of the board, you would need a gas and a fishing rod. And depends on which type of fish you target, you would need a set of different hooks probably. So this dependency, starting from the fishing hooks and fishing rod, and then finally all the way to the board, this is the set of dependencies that you have to satisfy, and if you do, then you sort of say, okay, you say okay to your friends, and you go do some fishing. Since we are using examples of high energy physics, let me give you the following example. Let's assume we need to have a gluon fusion mechanism. So if gluon fusion happened, it means, for our case, Higgs boson is produced. If Higgs boson is produced, then it's a collision of interest for us. And if we have such a collision, then we store this. So this set of dependencies from gluon fusion all the way to collision is what we will be talking about today. Now, without more words said, let's dive into the code. Previously, we talked about all the bosons, which is Z boson, gamma boson, W boson. We even had an event structure and data flow manager. Now it's finally the time to introduce also Higgs boson. And just to have it in front of us, let me show you a dependency that we decided to follow, and it is like that. Let's start with the gluon fusion. Gluon fusion. Now the only field that it would have in our particular case is happened. So it's either true or false. And for our case, we'll set it by default to true. So for our particular interest, since we want always Higgs bosons to be produced, we would set it to true. Even though in reality, just in case you're interested to know about the number, only in 90% of cases, gluon fusion is responsible for the production of the Higgs boson. But we will make it even simpler. If gluon fusion happened, then Higgs boson is produced. So very simple. Now what else I would do? I would produce here a constructor and a stream output operator, like that, and we should be fine. Now we can move on and talk about the Higgs boson. So Higgs boson will have a field called spin, and since Higgs boson couples to other bosons, say those actually that we already mentioned before, and the gauge bosons have spin 1, so theoretically Higgs boson can be either 0 or 2 in terms of its spin. But since we are doing these videos also for fun, let's have spin equal to 42. After all, talking about beyond standard model physics is always fun. Now, what I also would like to have here is shared pointer of the type gluon fusion, and we will call it gluon fusion mode, and whether its mode is on or off, as we just discussed, is controlled over here, or when we create an object. Now, At this point, I would also add a constructor and a stream output operator. And since we know that Gluon Fusion mode is always on by default, we don't need to print this information. Alright, moving to more interesting stuff. Collision. Well, collision would have a shared pointer of the type Higgs boson. Let's call it Higgs. And also let me explain why I choose a shared pointer here. Well, in particular, I'm doing double Higgs analysis in CMS with my boss and my colleagues. So that means in our collision we do have two Higgs bosons. Well, sometimes we have one, sometimes we have zero, but at times we do have two. So shared pointers, that's why would be an obvious choice. However, here I probably could go with unique pointer. The thing is, shared pointer I trust more, or as long as I created with make shared, in most of the cases, and especially since we are doing fast and live coding, in most cases this is the way to go, but of course it's just a preference. More details I'm leaving up to you guys. Now, in our collisions, we got the main field. I will generate a constructor, and we will finish construction of this object by putting string output operator. And let's not forget that Higgs is a pointer, so to print it properly, we would have to dereference it by putting star in front. Now, we are going inside of the main function, and down the line in the if statement, we are creating a Gluon Fusion object with std make shared. Let's put true, even though we know that true is by default, but just in case to simplify life of our IDE. And then we will have a Higgs object, which we would create with the same make shared method of the type Higgs boson. Let's see arguments in what they are and in which order: spin, Gluon Fusion mode, spin 42, and Gluon Fusion mode. And finally, we're going to create a collision object. Exactly the same strategy, make shared of the type collision, and we feed in our Higgs object. Now let's do some printing. Cout, and let me remove the printing that we had previously. So let's put the following statement. Higgs has following parameters, and here we would print what they are. Like that. And let's see, it should print us that the spin is 42. Alright, spin is 42, everything is perfect. Now, let's go further down this rabbit hole, and in a good way rabbit hole, and let's say collision has these parameters. And we would put here a collision object, of course. Alright, let's get it printed. Haha, it's the same good correct printing. So as you see, what we've done, a quick recap, we created given fusion object, we put it inside of Higgs. Once we created Higgs, we put it inside of collision, and so we created this collision, and we are printing the information inside. So this was good, and there are how many? 3 layers, but imagine you have 5 or 10. It may happen. Maybe it's not the best practice, but it may happen. So what should we do then? Well, let's use boost DI, boost dependency injection library. Let me do it the following way. Using namespace boost, and now I would need to download DI HPP. As you see right now, I don't have it as of now, but we are downloading, and we've got it. So let's see. Yeah, we've got it over here. So now what I'm advocating to do is the following. We will create an injector object. Okay, let's do it in the following manner. We're gonna start with auto injector, which is we will use DI. Let me see. DI make cannot resolve DI, and of course because we would need to include DI HPP, the ones that we just downloaded. So now it should be fine. DI, perfect. DI make injector, and we could leave it like this, but to help a bit our IDI, let's do the following. DI bind, and we will bind our integer field to 42, which would mean that we would always be setting our integer spin field to 42. Okay, so after we've done that, let's create auto injected Higgs. And what we do, we take injector, we call create upon it, and this create, we should pass in shared PTR of the type Higgs boson, and I guess that's it. Let's do some printing. Like that, and just see that it works. Aha, everything is working greatly as before. Now let's create a collision, injected collision. So we'll take injector as before, we would call its member function create, and we're gonna do it with the following parameter: std make shared, sorry, not make shared, but std just shared ptr, because that's what we need. Shared ptr of the type collision, like that. Let's see that everything is correctly. So create, and inside of create we have std shared ptr collision, std shared ptr collision, like that. And to show you that we are not cheating anywhere, I would remove Beyond Fusion object or Higgs object. What I will leave is just an injector, and what will happen is that using the power of the universe, our injector will create a collision which takes a Higgs boson, so it will also create a Higgs boson, which takes a gluon fusion mode, so it will also create that. And let's print it like this, and voila, should be fine. Perfect, 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 perfect. So as you see, right now we were able to produce the same results that we had when we were manually creating dependencies and injecting them one by one, also by hand. We were able to repeat the same exact result using Boost DI dependency injection library. And a quick recap how it happened: we created an injector, and to help IDI a bit, we also use this bind method inside of injector. And what happened behind the scene: to create a collision, Higgs was produced first, and beforehand gluon fusion for the Higgs was also produced. And then we get exactly the same working mechanism, but without too much stress, without a possibility to make a mistake, and also, last but not least, but with much fewer lines of code. So this is how you violate dependency injection principle, doing everything by hand. And how you fix it? Well, you just find the right tool, which is BoostDI, and you follow it, and it works magically. Thank you for being with us for the whole series of solid design principles. From now on, we will start finally design patterns, and we will do it in both C++ and Python. Stay humble, stay hungry. See you next time. All the best.